Hi guys, I just thought I'd put together a little bit of a video to go through the ring muscle ups to try and get people to get their first ring muscle up out. This is something that's worked for me with quite a few people. They've had a lot of success from it. So I'll just run through a few sort of progressions that we go through just to make sure that you've got the strength there to start with and the transition, and then we can relate that straight to the rings. So the first thing I want to go through is the false grip. Very rarely will you see someone that'll knock out their first muscle up when they're holding onto what I call the suicide grip like that. If you do that, when you get to the transition point, so when you get up here, you've actually got to loosen the grip of your hands and re-grip again, okay? Where if you do the false grip, which is like this, as you come up, it's just a matter of twisting your wrists and you're in that position to do the dip, okay? So the false grip through your wrists should look like that, okay? So it runs down between your thumb onto almost the heel of your palm in there, and then you wrap around. So when you're hanging from the rings, it'll look like that, okay? So I'll show you now the progressions we use. So the first one we want to go through is we have our feet on the ground, okay? So in almost like a squat, having the false grip is really important, and all we're going to do is push with our legs kind of like we're jumping, and get into this position here, okay? So we're going to go from being down there into that position. Once you feel pretty comfortable with that movement itself, we then move on to the ring, move on to the band. So with the bands, it's the same thing. I can't stress enough how much you need to hold that false grip. Get into that false grip, use the band to kind of propel you up, and that's going to make it that you're lifting a little bit more, okay? So from here up to here. Okay, now the last one before we move over to the rings. This is probably one of the most important things about the muscle up. First thing is obviously the false grip. Second is how much you're going to use your hips. Okay, the more hip drive you use and the more aggressive you are with the hips, the more time you're going to have in that transition at the top, okay? So the first thing you want to be thinking about is trying to get your hips in line with the rings, okay? So once I'm kipping and I'm swinging, I want to be here like this, and as I come up, I'm getting my hips up as high as I possibly can, okay? If I can do that, then it's just a matter of looking down at my toes, okay? So think the whole time when you're on the rings, hips high, look down at your toes. So once you progress from the band, we want to put your heels on a box, start with your arms straight, so you might be resting all the way on the ground. From here, all we do is we're going to look up at the ceiling, throw our hips up, and then catch ourselves in the receiving position, okay? Go through that drill heaps. That drill there is the one that's really going to help you, and it'll transfer straight over to doing it on the rings. Now we'll set up on the rings. I'll show you how to do it there, but you have to be really fluent with this movement before we move forward. Okay, so once you've got really good at that one with your feet on the box, the next thing I want to do is go on the rings. Now the thing I've seen time and time again where people will get into that false grip on the rings and they'll swing and they'll kip and they'll swing and they'll kip and they'll just keep going back and forth until they lose the grip, okay? And they wonder why they can't do it because then they're back on what I call the suicide grip, so as if you're doing a pull-up. What I want to say now, the first thing we do is we just move our feet forward a little bit, swing them all the way back as far as you can, and then you go. The more you swing back and forth, yes, it's good to practice and to practice getting that kip, but it's really hard to build up that false grip, okay? I'll give you a demo of that. And what happens, you'll see people will start off with a really strong false grip, and they'll kip, and they'll kip, and then you can see straight away, I've lost my grip and I'm back to that suicide grip. And that's one of the reasons then people try and come up to the top and they're not going to have that strength in that transition yet, and they're not going to get their hips high enough to have that time in that transition. So what I'm going to do now, I'll show you what I'm going to do is focus on getting those hips up. So the first thing I'm going to think about, getting my hips as high as I possibly can, and once they're there, I'm just going to look down as fast as I can at my toes. If I do that, my head will pop through and I'll be in that receiving position, okay? Watch my feet. My legs are going to stay together. They're not going to wave apart. As soon as they wave apart, you're going to lose all that strength and all that power, okay? I want to think of my feet like a dolphin, okay? I'm kicking my feet forward. So just watch this. So from the fall, I've got the false grip here. Feet are going to go together. Little kip forward, little kip back, and then I go into the receiving position and press the dip out, okay? So I'll show you one more time. So from the dead hang, okay, forward, back a long way, and down. Okay, and that's it. Okay, so practice the box. The box is really important. I personally find the box harder than I do up on the rings. With my heels on the box, there's not enough momentum there. It's really hard to drive that power out of your hips. When you're swinging up here, that power, you've got that whole backswing to get as much power through your hips as you can. Think of it like a kettlebell swing. When we throw our hips forward, we're extending our hips, exactly the same here, except you're hanging off the rings. All right, guys, good luck with it. If you've got any questions, please message me on Facebook or text message, private message, and send me through a video. I'll be more than happy to have a look at it for you. All right, guys, thanks heaps.